Hi, my name is Josh. I am the founder of Socks Makes Games and the solo developer on Northpass Rail. Welcome to the first developer vlog for Northpass Rail. To start off, we're gonna go through some of the structure of the inventory system, as this was one of the first systems I tackled when creating the game. In order to create an inventory, we needed a structure where the player could reorganize the inventory, move items around. It would store items. It would show a image that would indicate to the player what item is stored in that slot, as well as have a number to keep track of the amount of items in that slot. Now initially, in order to do this, I used the Godot item list. However, it didn't seem to be as expandable for the inventory system that I needed, as I didn't or wasn't able to access all of the items within the item list itself. To this extent, I then basically created my own grid inventory system using a grid container, and lots of basically each panel, each slot in the inventory has its own container. This will handle behaviors such as setting an item, setting the texture, setting the amount, and updating it. These would then, whenever a change was made, would sync to the hotbar, the quick bar at the bottom of the screen, which syncs up with the first 9 slots in the inventory. In future, I'd like to add a differentiating graphic. However, all of the UI graphics at the moment weren't really a priority, therefore it's just using the standard Godot UI. The next interesting feature that I developed on the way up to the announcement was the tile system. The tiles will randomly generate different objects, and this random generated objects was just to initially it's just for like the starter trainyard. So when you first get the trainyard, it's a bit run down and there's some items in your clearing which also give you access to early resources. In order to do this, I have a tile map which holds the tile scene. The reason I made tiles individual scenes is because there's more behavior on them than just spawning new items. You can check when a tile is selected in order to either place an object or destroy an object that's in that tile, and this is all done through the actual tile scene, which is just put in through a tile map. How we actually generate them is there is an exported variable on the tiles which holds all of the potential basically environmental things that can be on top of a tile, and from that it basically just generates a random number. There is a chance that nothing's generated, and that is perfectly fine because we don't want to have a map completely filled. The final thing I wanted to go over in this video is the actual handling of objects and how that works. As we know, we've now got an inventory which can store objects, as well as having tiles which can spawn new objects. But how do these objects know when to spawn, or know what to drop, for instance? For this, I created a bunch of classes and basically like a class template for a resource class. So it'll give the resource a tag, an icon, and a scene object. The tag will be a unique way of identifying the resource. The icon just stores the path to the asset for the icon. The scene object is if it has some form of representation within a scene, it'll show that, and it will also store the interaction type. So let's say we've got an object in the inventory that is a building, for example. It would have a tag of building, it would load a building icon, load the building scene, and its interaction type would be whatever item you would use to destroy it. This can be seen also with the basic axe and basic pickaxe resources, where they have their interaction type. And basically when an interaction type matches, then an interaction can take place. This further goes into how objects are actually destroyed. So if we look at a tree, which is the best example currently implemented, a tree object has the interaction type axe, like the damage type axe, and if its damage type matches its interaction type, then the interaction can take place. I'm hoping to do these devlogs semi-regularly and go more in depth on individual elements. Thank you very much for watching. Please keep an eye out for next week's devlog, and I'll see you then.